Shalom, call all y'all about Shalom to the look. In this video, I'm title this one, Our Leaders Cause Our People to Err, or make error, so to speak. And these are who you would call, also call leaders, or some of the leaders of our people, because this is who people are going to listen to. See, Esau's slick. They'll put them in the forefront. Hold on, let me pause this before advertisement pop up. They'll put them in the forefront to help push the agenda a little bit quicker. Let's just listen to this video now, and I seen it, I got a little pissed off, because I'm like, man, these people should know better, man. The same people that oppress our people, generation after generation, now all of a sudden they want to offer some type of help. When people believe that bullshit, let me go to this.
For creative alternatives to prison time for certain first-time lovers.
Hold on, it's like wrong video. I want to get into that one too. I'm gonna go right back to that.
Today, a statewide COVID-19 task force is calling on President Biden and state leaders to use them to
see the leaders. Now, before I let this video play, let me go into this. It's in the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, and verse. I'm gonna start at verse 13. It says, "The Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people." These would be considered some of the ancients right here. "And the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses." Best believe the spoil of the poor is in some of these pastors' houses. That's how they get the nice luxurious limos and cars and houses, the jewelry, the nice two-piece, three-piece suits, the gold and platinum cufflinks. They get that from actual poor people that go to church, so-called pay their tithes. Verse 15, it says, "What mean ye that he beat my people to pieces and ground the faces of the poor, says the Lord of hosts." Yeah, there's some more precepts I want to put as well. Let me get that. I'll put this other one real quick. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23. Let's scroll down the verse. In verse 32, better yet, I'm going to start at verse 31. It says, "Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord." They use the tongues and say, he said, "Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies, and by their lightness, that I sent them not." Most I ain't send these guys. Look what they about to push out. They can actually tell you to go with Esau agenda. They're not going to tell you to change the way you eat and go practice following these commandments that actually really better yourself and go seek Yahweh Shem. They're going to say go seek Esau red ass. Now it says, "Yet I sent them not, and no commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord." Let me let this play.
Get vaccines out to marginalized communities.
This is a call to action. What you all been doing has not worked.
This comes as health officials say getting vaccinated or boosted is the best way to protect yourself from the highly transmissible Omicron variant.
Duval County's health department issued a dire warning just this afternoon saying Omicron is 2 to 3 times as contagious as the Delta variant, making it 4 to 6 times as contagious as the original strain.
You know, just a little inside joke. You know, it's more contagious than being stupid.
Strain of COVID. News for Vax reporter Marilyn Parker joins us live now. Marilyn, one group's strategy is to try to use trusted sources to get out these vaccines.
It's your churches, your community centers, things in your...
You see what they're using? Let me go to another precinct real quick. Well, Esau's slick, man. That's why, hey, know thy enemy. Esau's slick as hell. It's a real slick tactic right here. It's in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, avoid. Let me see. Let me go to this real quick. In verse 1, saying, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. They ain't gonna do them to scatter and destroy people because of this. More people are gonna get destroyed because of this. And scatter the sheep of my pasture, said the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries where I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds. And that's what's going to happen, because our people scattered everywhere, all over the earth. And them pushing out this nonsense, they'll make people get even more spooked up and scared. And best believe people try to flee and go out of town, go across seas, go to different countries, or go to different states, so to speak.
Your neighborhood, that's where they say people trust to get these resources from and are more likely to go and get their vaccine with. Churches are staples in some communities. They've been important parts of the COVID-19 response since vaccinations began with the new variant.
And look what the sign say right here, man. Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
Began with the new variant, Omicron, said to be 4 to 6 times as strong as the original strain. Pastors say it's time for resources to be brought back to their churches.
Put the resources in these marginalized communities. Billions of dollars. Where did resources go?
They want to expand their vaccine efforts everywhere in the state. Specifically, they're calling for 40 locations to be placed in hard-to-reach communities. The chairman of the task force says relying on CVS, Walgreens...
Hey, like I mentioned in the previous video, he's so desperate right now because they know their time's getting short. Let me get this scripture real quick. Let me get this real quick. Hold on, give me 1 minute. It's the book of Revelation. Let me see. Yeah, book of Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Let me go to this. That's the one I was looking for. This is the book of Revelation chapter 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in the woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is coming to you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's why you see all this shit moving like that. So just maybe on standby. Esau got some more shit they about to pull out. Another little stunt, another little psyop, because they know they got a short time. They've been seeing the chariots. He was talking about it real heavy in the news about them monitoring the UFOs or the UAPs and different stuff like that. They know that those are the actual chariots. They know that those are what the Bible mentions. The clouds or the pillar of fire by night and the cloud by day. They know about that stuff. Or the cherubims or whatever they want to, whatever title they want to try to slide on there. They see this just as well as men watch these videos and research, see that the earthquakes going on in all these various places in the earth. Now it's earthquakes hitting places that they ain't even, never even hit at. So they know their time getting short. And you got men calling on the name Yahweh or Yahweh Shah too at the same time. So they know they through. But that name they took and hid it from us. They didn't want us to know those names. They knew it was power in it. As long as we didn't know who we are, who to call on, we was fucked up. Now, the table's turning, so they coming out with all the little stunts now.
Greens and grocery stores to distribute vaccines concerns him.
I'm not against the drugstores and
That's a crafty tactic, once again. While let this play somewhere. Strip a nation of their nationality. I don't know who the fuck they are. You can tell them anything. Oh, this who you is. This what you supposed to be doing. But the whole time, you're really something else, and you're supposed to be doing something else.
and the grocery stores. But it hasn't been working. I declare that if you put it in the right agencies, with right hand, you'll see more results.
Two of their churches held vaccine events this past Saturday where they say 100 plus people were vaccinated.
So it's right in the heart of the community where it's accessible, trusted venue, trusted voices, people who are in the community, live in the community, reaching out to the community, and that's what it's all about.
The pastors say they know what to do to reach the community. They just need help to do it.
Now look, let me go to this real quick. This other video I was talking about.
Alternatives to prison time.
No, before I let that play, let me find this one precept real quick. It's in the book of Ezekiel. It's in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. Go to this one. Let me see. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, so the verse 3 says, "And the glory of Yahweh of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house, and he called unto the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sign and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of Israel." Now, a lot of people, they ain't crying. They ain't riding home from work or going out on their day-to-day routines, looking at all this bullshit and like, you know what? We need to get the fuck out of here. They thinking about the next 10 years in this motherfucker. So the angel passing right by them, he putting the mark on their ass. They got a mark of judgment. Now it says, and to the others he said, "In my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, that not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity, slay utterly old, young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is a mark." So when all the judgments started taking place, which is going to take place, like the scripture talk about Jacob's trouble, and the third being refined, and 2/3 being judged. It's roughly paraphrasing. They gonna get jacked up because they ain't got that mark, and they ain't talking about the same mark mentioned in the book of Revelation. They ain't talking about that. What was that term I used in that video? That badge of servitude. They ain't talking about that mark. They're talking about something different in this one. They're talking about a spiritual mark, a mark of being of the elect. So when that judgment comes, you might be riding on a bus or something, and that shit blow up or flip over, hit a damn tanker truck. 2 people might make it, or the 18 or something, they ain't gonna make it. You might be in a building, that shit collapse. 100 people in the building. 97 end up perishing. But them 3, they gonna make it because they got that mark. That's how stuff gonna be going down. You might have a bunch of people eat something, might leak out some damn bullshit like they like to do on the population, get people ill. You know, I try to use certain terminology so they don't take the video down. Get people ill, like the scripture says, 1,000 should fall at our side, but none of these places should come near it. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Let me get that, and I'll jump right back to this. It's in the book of Psalms, chapter 91. And I think as all this bullshit going on, I think about this precept all the time too. And I just keep this in mind. Let me see. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna read this whole chapter because it's a short one. That's the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 1. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." You gotta keep that in mind. You gotta be bold in there. You can't be coward and be weak and be doubtful. The Most High don't like doubters. Verse 2 it says, "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence." So right now it's a noisome pestilence going on. So who are you going to trust to deliver you from that? Esau or the Most High? Now it says, "He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, or for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side." This goes back to Ezekiel with that mark. It says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 in thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So just imagine you in the whole city, fucking 1,000 motherfuckers just drop dead, but you don't die though. Don't nothing happen to you. That's because the Most High have that has protection over you. And certain people, it's not going to be like that. Now, a person that's not spiritual will look at this and think this is a joke. Oh, that can't happen. But it happens. It's going to happen all throughout history. Now it says, "Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling." And that's the spirit you want to be in. You want to have that in mind. It says, "For He should give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample on the feet. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver Him. I will set Him on high, because He know my name." See, that shit should light a fuse and you just thought of that, especially if you know the name. Because you can't ask for help from somebody. If you don't know the name, how you going to ask for help? That's like calling the pizza man if you trying to get help from 911. That shit don't work. In verse 15 it said, "He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation." And call Allah Yahweh Hashem Shah. Because me personally, I done been through all type of scenarios just to let me know this is real. Let me go back to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. And let me see. Oh, I was up. Back in verse 6, it says, "Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary." It says, "Then they begin at the ancient man which was before the house." Because the old man supposed to be representing, they supposed to be showing the younger men how to carry themselves, conduct themselves, be men, know about these precepts, know how to serve the Most High in the proper manner, teaching them about the history, knowing how to judge matters, small and great. But what they doing? Listening to Esau red ass. So, hey, the Most High gonna get them what they want. The same judgment Esau getting, they getting it right along with them. Verse 8. Oh, but let me read on some more. In verse 7 it says, "And He said unto them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth." And they went forth and slew in the city, and it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, "O Lord, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel, and not pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem?" Because that's how it be seeming, just like you read these scriptures, is numerous accounts. Like the time when the Most High told David, "Don't do no census," he wouldn't have did a census anyway. So I want to say over 40,000 people got killed because of that. Because it ain't up to us to go number everybody on the planet, just like Esau tried to do that shit. And it seemed like every time they have a census and they send them little papers out, some big catastrophic event happen, big ass earthquake or typhoon or something where a bunch of people die. So it ain't up to us to go number everybody on earth. That's the Most High. That's what He done. he gonna make sure he know where everybody at, how many people been born, what region of the earth they live in. But leave it up to Esau. The Edomites, they want to play God. That's what they like to do. So I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna pull a few more presets and end this up.
For certain first-time low-level offenders. And as Jake Stofan shows us, one bill filed for the 2022 legislative session would provide the option of serving in the military instead of behind bars.
See, that's some real crafty shit. So now they got this other stuff going on, and I put a video up too. It was a short video. So basically, if you don't end up complying and getting the, you know what, Esau can lock your ass up. And guess what they can do now with this new legislation? Ship your ass over. Send you to Iraq. I'll send you over across seas somewhere. It's crazy, man.
First-time offender, 25 or younger, who's facing convictions carrying up to 4 years in prison, would have the option of serving in the military in lieu of prison time under the legislation. Vietnam veteran Joe West says back during the war, military service instead of jail was a fairly common option for judges to provide.
And they were not any different than my other brothers.
He says in many ways, those who took military service were better off than those who didn't.
It made a lot of good people out of people that may have gone a different path had they not had that option.
Barney Bishop with the Florida Smart Justice Alliance.
And you already know who they were sending over there. They weren't sending Esau over there.
Says the idea has merit, especially for nonviolent offenders.
Even though it is a violent profession, because we're trying to help nonviolent offenders have another alternative.
See, Esau a fucking devil. Now, let me go to this preset real quick. That don't even make sense. You got a person that's a violent offender, and you're gonna send him into some violence so he don't be violent. That don't even make fucking sense. But that's Esau for you, though. Look at this. Listen to how smooth and soft he said it. He seems so. This guy's so trustworthy. Look at him.
This alliance says the idea has merit, especially for nonviolent offenders.
Even though it is a violent profession, because we're trying to help nonviolent offenders have another alternative.
But
yeah, that's more fucking violence. And what most military people do when they come on, because I got some of my family have PTSD, still we want to go on a fucking killing spree, all type of wild shit, man. Yeah, hey, this is Book of Psalms, chapter 55. In verse 21, it said, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So Esau don't give a fuck about rehabilitating nobody. They need more troops, especially now. Got the shit going on with Ukraine, stuff going on with Iran. Now these different nations are gearing up. The situation with Taiwan and China, and stuff going on over there with Japan, with Russia trying to take over some of them islands in Japan. So it's a whole list of stuff going on. So guess what? Now they're gonna start recruiting our people that's locked up, put their ass right over there across seas. And then you little small offenders that don't take the you know what, you get locked up. This what it's really leading to. They ain't really worrying about the other shit. They just want to send your ass across seas. They need them numbers. You small offenders, they can't place no bond. You ain't got no bond money put up. And none of that other stuff. Or the court's not holding trial because the you know what going around. Send your ass, and on top of that, they put in the badge of servitude in certain troops too. Because best believe if you locked up, they want to keep tabs on where you're going at. So they're not just going to send you over there and let you run around free. No, you're going to have that charagma, that badge of servitude put in.
Even if the legislation passes, the option...
No, don't listen to me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just pulling this out of thin air.
Might not work in practice. That's because most branches of the military now explicitly prohibit service as an alternative to criminal conviction.
The military has much higher standards now for entry than we had in the late 60s, early 70s.
But supporters of the military option say Congress would have more authority to make the idea a reality.
I think it would help them understand our country better, and I think it would give them a love of country that a lot of them these days are lacking.
The bill has been filed in both the Florida House and Senate. Lawmakers begin their annual session January 11th. Reporting from the state capitol, Jake Stofan, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, hey, that's enough of that. I just want to bring this up. I don't want to watch this out. This video is edifying. Call all y'all about Shem Shah. Shalom to the light.